El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks Podcast.
And we are recording. So, yeah. For those who are watching, alam niyo na kung sino ang kasama ko ngayon, especially if those are from Benguet. And teacher din sila. They know who you are. And for those who are listening, especially, of course, yung mga shoutout sa mga nakikinig abroad, Canada, yung mga statistics ko na yun, Canada, Hong Kong. With me right now is, ito yung sinasabi nila na pinaka nakaka-nervous na gagawin ng isang podcaster or isang nagpa-practice ng ganito to interview your boss. One of our supervisor in the school's division of Benguet, Sir Makati Malanes. How are you, sir?
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Klein, for this opportunity.
Yeah. It's my honor, sir. Talagang, actually, paano ko ba sasabihin ito? Matagal na sana eh. Pinilpila ko na kayo. Ma'am Kusnian, yung mga ganun. Why? Because I want to listen to your stories. Mga storya ninyo, and then your knowledge also on the field of education. Nga tayo ngayon nga istorya no nagigid na at the formal meetings or just in the meeting or seminar na gano'n na hindi natin napag-uusapan. Yun yung gusto kong just in case maungkat dito. Parang gano'n. So I am very thankful na pinaunlakan nyo ang aking imbitasyon. Marigata na kayo mag-Tagalog, sorry. Bakit ko pinipilit na mag-Tagalog? Mag-Filipino, matagal na...
Ilocano.
Mabalik mo, sir. Matagal kasi na supervisor ng Filipino. Si...
Araling Panlipunan.
Ngayon ay Araling Panlipunan. Kasi nung pagpasok ko, sir, ng 2016 sa Benguet is, yan. Yes, ang pagkakakilala ko sa inyo is kayo yung nasa Filipino.
I handled Filipino way back 2015 to 2020. And then in 2021, I assumed the role as the supervisor for Araling Panlipunan.
Araling Panlipunan, opposite. Pero bago tayo pumunta dun, I just want to know, sir, kung saan sa Kibungan tayo nanggaling, what particular na can you share to the listener kung saan lugar sa Kibungan tayo guys?
So, siyempre, taga-Kibungan tayo. Doon tayo nag-aral. Doon tayo nag-aral ng elementary.
Yeah.
Tapos, high school. And during our elementary and high school days, I was really interested in topics about history. Parang gustong-gusto kong makistudy sa mga quiz bee. Ganun. So, maalala ko noon, first year kami, nagkaroon kami ng quiz bee on Philippine history.
First year, sir, is...
Yeah, first year high school.
For the context ng mga bata ngayon, that is grade 7 ngayon, sir, ano?
Equivalent na
yes,
of grade 7.
Yes.
But during our time,
yes,
we were first year high school.
Yeah.
So, I remember I placed first.
History. History.
On quiz bee on history. So, parang tinalo namin ata yung mga second year and fourth year. Parang
first year.
Parang nagsimula doon yung interest ko sa history.
I remember back in my also that I love I don't know why parang nanonood ka parang nanonood kapag nagbabasa ka ng history. So I also love watching nung meron ng cable, yung History Channel, reading the history of actually dito kami naging close back in the day with I don't know, kilala niyo sir si Sir Moller Bato. Nag-aral siya ng second year high school sa Mankaya noon. nagkataon din na nag-transfer doon ako doon kami naging close kasi maano rin yung alam niya sa history. And Kibungan is one of those places that yun yung sinasabi nila, and that's why I wanna really know about this. Can you describe how children go to school back in the day sa inyong lugar? Na paano yung ano yung sitwasyon ng mga bata if they're going to school sa Kibungan?
During our time?
Yes, during
our time. So, as far as I remember, how children went to school before, what's the situation?
Yes, sir.
What situation of schooling? Maybe we will really, consider the situation before that our roads were not paved during the time, and then transportation so much available during that time.
And maybe you're lucky if your place has a road.
Yes. So I remember we had classmates coming from, it's actually within Poblacion, but we had classmates who came from Police, Liwan, Pinjungan. These are teachers of Poblacion. They had to hike more than 1 hour just to reach school.
Every day, morning and afternoon.
But of course, we were fortunate because we were, our residence was near the school. But still, during our time, we were exposed to war. So before we went to school, we had to fetch water, we had to pound rice, we had to pound rice, and then in the afternoon we had to prepare for the food of pigs. So we were actually as young as 7 years old. We were exposed to work. Not only in our own home, but even in the rice field. So from there, we learned the value of
that is normal.
Yes, that was normal during our time.
Ngayon.
But now it's a different.
It's a different story. Yes. And just yung sinasabi niyo kasi, sir, na people came from different sitios. They travel from 1 hour. Say for 1 hour just to go to school, and they have to work also at the same time. Parang it is reflecting how we value education much in the olden days. And meron ba kayong parang i-share sa amin na kwento ng mga sino yung parang hindi naman sa favoritism pero meron tayong usually tumatatak na teacher. Hindi makakalimutan.
Merong
yung maaalala mong teacher nung time na yun.
Yung maaalala mong teachers.
Yes.
Marami, sir. Yung mga teachers namin noon, starting from grade 1, yung talagang nakafocus talaga sa kung paano sila magturo ng reading. Tapos yung basic numeracy, pagamat disciplinaryan yung ating mga teachers noon. Naabutan pa namin
over the top na disciplinary measures.
Yung pagtuturo na sinisiguro na bago ka mag-grade 2 ay alam mo nang magbasa, alam mo na ang basic mathematics, and so far, sa experience ko sa Kibungan, parang mga teachers talaga namin noon, we were fortunate because they taught us reading, basic mathematics, and lately from grade 3, grade 4, we had the team writing.
Maaga sir, grade 3.
Team writing, it's not only first, it's the cursive, how you write, and then later on, how you copy articles, and then later, you construct
Mm.
your own story.
Yes, sir.
Oo. So with that training, I believe na ako teachers really, he did well.
And talagang strict ang
Yes,
implementation.
Disciplinarian talaga. I don't know kung naabutan ninyo yung talagang naranasan namin yung palo.
Naabutan namin sa mga 1995, ganun, pero parang paano na rin nadi-diminish na sir.
So naabutan namin yung palo. Pero during our time, that was appropriate.
Parang hindi ka sir, parang nandun ba sa feeling nyo nung bata kayo na parang hindi kayo kasali sa school kapag hindi kayo napalo? Parang ganun nga eh. In the mind of the children, it's parang normal. But then, that's why they know na if they, parang pag napalo sila, may nagawa silang mali.
Yes.
Parang ganun.
Hindi naman, yung mga teachers naman natin noon, hindi naman talaga sila nagpapalo na walang dahilan.
Walang dahilan, tama. Yes.
Hindi yung hindi mo alam, hindi ko naman naranasan yan sa aking mga teacher. So far, no? Disciplinarian, pero magagaling, mahusay. At sa atin ngayon, kinikilala natin na yung influence nila, yung influence nila sa aking buhay, nung ako hanggang ngayon ay ako ay naging guru. Ito maaalala mo pa rin yung pamamaraan, kung paano nila hinuhubog yung mga bata. To me, I will not describe that as they were disciplinarian. It's something they cared much.
Oh, they cared much.
They cared much.
Magandang
to the learners.
Yeah, they cared much.
So, parang totoo yung sinasabi ng yung kasabihan ng Chinese na we remember them not on how much they know, but how much they care. So the way how they discipline that,
tama.
We acknowledge that they did that out of a caring attitude. They want the best.
Yes. Actually, pag nagre-reflect ka, yun ang unang lumalabas, di ba, sir? Pag hindi nila ako tinuro ng hindi nila itinuro yung tamang daan. Tama. Yung the way they care, the way they care is talagang yun ang nangingibabaw mo other than doon sa yung amount ng or yung quality ng naituro. Nag-high school kayo Kibuan din, sir. When you were in college, and I'm so sorry that we're going to personal here. Then nag-message kasi si sir, parang wag na, pero I'm so interested kasi because I read your post and wow, the way he writes, wedding author at the same time he can be a lawyer too. And what made you decide to become or to pursue education? Anong kung may share niyo sa
ano yung gusto nating ang daming kwento.
Okay lang sir, we can have 3 hours here.
Ano yung gustong i-focusan natin yung
bakit teacher? Paano kayo naging teacher?
Paano ako naging teacher?
Yes. Paano na humantong sa decision niya? Sige, magti-teacher na lang ako.
So, ibig sabihin, parang mula sa desisyon hanggang sa nag-aral, sa pagkaguro, parang ganun ba?
Yeah. Yun ang gusto ko. Because this one is a long-form conversation. We can have that, sir.
Okay. Sige. So, ayun, after high school talaga, parang gustong-gusto ko rin yung gusto ko yung issues. Nagbabasa tayo ng pahayagan. Yung pahayagan, ito, I guess that was the influence of our teachers, no?
Yes.
We read newspapers, before, and then it influenced me. So, nung nag-college tayo, nag-enroll talaga tayo ng education. Tapos, ano yung major? Siyempre, social studies. Nag-major ako ng araling panlipunan. Actually, history.
In your days, it's history.
Tapos, ang minor ko, Filipino. Bakit Filipino? Kasi alam ko noon na itinuturo
Yeah.
yung araling panlipunan sa Pilipinas.
Sa Pilipinas.
Nag-major ako. ng Pilipino.
Parang nagja-jive siya.
So, ganun siguro yung shortcut ng kwento.
This podcast is brought to you by St. Lucy's Multi-Purpose Cooperative. You need some money for your business, you need loans for something important, you can contact St. Lucy Multi-Purpose Cooperative.
Wala bang wala. So talagang when you were there, talagang I really love to become a teacher parang. Because ang karamihan kasi sa atin, especially in Cordilleras, I don't know during your generation, pero my generation, yung sinusundan naming generation, and then parang yung sumusunod sa amin, usually pag lalaki yan, at Cordilleran or Igorot, either police, mga ganon, yung medyo nagpo-polsay yan, diretso lawyer. Mang iba naman kukuha ng education pero ang bagsak ng magnanapol kung pulis pa rin. So usually yung pumapasok na yung mga kabatch namin or kaming generation na napadpad dito sa field na ito is nakakayamang aminin pero it's not the first choice.
Yes, yeah.
parang ganon, and parang it's a parang paano ba i-describe? Parang kumbaga sa pagkain ngayon, it became an acquired taste. That during the first time na nandun ka sa field, parang ayaw mo, and then you were looking for an opportunity that you can go out, and then later on parang acquired taste na parang nasanay ka na ganito, and then you're starting to love the craft, you're starting to love the job, and then nandito ko na. Usually, yun yung mga yun yung story ng mga male teachers. And it's yun.
Tama yun, sir. Parang yung decision natin,
yes, sir.
Mula sa course natin, halimbawa, ay sa aking experience ay nakabatay doon talaga sa kalagayan natin noon. Hindi naman sa minamaliit natin yung teaching profession na sinasabi natin, ito lang talaga yung ability. Hindi naman. Kundi ang decisions talaga natin nakabatay sa kung ano yung nakakagiliwan natin.
Yes.
Ganun. And then, as we go on, nalaman pala natin na
we love this.
Tama pala. Talagang teacher pala tayo. Kahit sabihin natin, sana abogado tayo, gano'n. Pero, ito na.
Yes.
Naging guru tayo. So, marami yung nagsasabi na accidental yung pagiging guru.
Yeah.
So, siguro sa atin, sigurong ito na yung desisyon.
You chose the path, you marked it.
Bunga ng desisyon, mula nang nagtapos tayo ng high school, tapos nagdesisyon tayo na magpursige ng kurso sa edukasyon, ay ito na talaga yung desisyon natin. Tama pala na. Siguro yung parang lesson dito sa ating mga learners o sa ating mga kabataan, as early as talaga bago matapos yung senior high school, meron talagang may decision. Kasi pag mali yung decision mo,
yeah. Sir, paano kaya natin maituro yun sa mga bata yung kasi and speaking na base din sa karanasan ko, that 16 years old na ako, fourth year high school na kami. Parang wala pa rin sa isip ko kung ano ba yung tamang kurso na kukunin ko. Saan kaya parang kulang ba kaya ako ng parang career guidance during that day, or paano kaya natin maiano sa mga bata kung
paano natin
yung parang ma-guide sila sa kanilang decision making sana.
So siguro wala namang specific formula, pero yung para sa atin siguro yung talagang sincere tayo. hindi naman sa yung pinapakita natin na perfect yung ating buhay, pero iminomodelo pa rin natin. Iminomodelo pa rin natin. Paano tayo nagdidesisyon. Magkukwento tayo ng mga karanasan sa tunay na buhay. Mas makatutulong.
Yung sharing. Sharing ng experience. And at the same time, kausapin sila, parang ano ba talaga yung gusto mo? Parang, di ko alam kung nagawa sa amin yun nung high school. Baka hindi lang ako nakikinig.
Tama.
Ay, pero, ayun, parang ano rin, tama yung sinabi niyo, sir, na dapat sa senior high na sila, alam na nila kung ano yung gusto nila. So, nung nakuha niyo yung education, sir, pumasa kayo, wala kayong regret talagang, I'm a teacher, I am this, I'm going to continue this path. Wala kayong, sa talagang doon na, tinayuan yun na yan.
Yes,
Wow.
Hindi naman, masasabi natin.
That's nice. Parang, you're one of the few, sir. You're one of the few. You're one of the few. Where is your first teaching assignment?
Yung,
nung naka-graduate na kayo, where was the first teaching assignment?
So, yung nagka-graduate, tapos,
first na nagsuruan tayo.
first teaching,
Yes, sir.
siguro.
Yes, sir.
Siguro yung, it has something to do with, after graduation, parang ganon.
Yeah.
And then, ang daming kwento rin
Sigurado ako.
Saan ako nagtrabaho, parang
So, after graduation, hindi kayo nag-apply agad, medyo nag-ano pa kaya?
After graduation, nagtrabaho tayo sa nagtrabaho tayo sa isang non-government group. And then after that,
talagang social,
nagtrabaho rin tayo, hindi naman tayo naging guro agad. Nagtrabaho ko sa munisipyo ng Kibungan. So, almost 2 years. Pero yun nga yung sinasabi ko na nagsilbi pa rin karanasan yung pagtatrabaho ko sa isang non-government group.
Yes.
Involved in advocacy actually. Advocacy for youth empowerment sa non-government group. And then after that, I worked in the municipal government. Doon ko nalaman yung something about communication. And then I saw the workings of how the local government operates. Parang observant tayo. Anyway, that's a long story. And then we pioneered the opening of Madayman National High School.
Madayman National High School.
So, that was 1996.
96? Yeah. I was just grade 2 back then.
We pioneered the opening of Madayman
National High School. So, parang kayo yung first na teacher?
Yes.
Wow.
And then, 10 years ko sa Madayman. 10 years after I took the principal's exam. After a year, I was assigned in Tuba. I was assigned as a teacher in charge of the Tuba Central extension of Tuba National High School.
And then
that is for I worked there from 2006 to 2013, and then I was again reassigned to Cap 6. You have your Memorial National High School. From 2013 to 2015. 2015, napunta na ako sa division office, supervisor ng Pilipina.
Do you miss the field sometimes pag nandiyan kayo sa noise? Parang nakakamiss yung magturo. Meron pa rin.
Oo naman.
Kasi tinayuan niyo yung pagiging teacher, and then nandiyan kayo for sure, mamimiss niya ang teaching. History of education in Benguet, sabi na, yun yung isang nabasa ko na sinusulat. And can you just share to us, sa mga listeners, kung paano yung istorya ng asan ba yung first na eskwelahan dito sa Benguet? Paano ba nagsimula? Sino ba yung first na teacher?
Magandang tanong yan. Noong naghahanap tayo ng mga references. Kaugnay ng kailan ba nagsimula yung formal education?
Yes.
Oo, sa Benguet. Mukhang limited yung ating resources. Meron tayong People's History of Benguet. Napakaganda.
Yeah, that is the book that I'm still looking at.
Binabanggit naman yung education doon.
Yes.
Tapos, ang dami-daming hiwa-hiwalay na mga sulatin na may kinalaman sa early education. So sabi ko, baka naman po pwedeng
compile.
Tag-isahin.
Yes.
Baka naman pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng isang write-up na talagang titingnan natin yung pinagmulan ng ating education. Bakit ba? Yung sinasabi natin na magsimula tayo kung saan tayo. And then, doon, nagtanong-tanong tayo. Then, nakatulong naman itong mga initial references. Initial sources, mga records during the American regime, mga annual education reports.
Hinalungkat nyo lahat yun sa library.
Tapos, ang realization ko doon, bakit hindi natin ito pinag-aralan?
Yes, exactly, sir.
Noong tayo ay college, noong tayo ay high school.
Yeah.
So parang, yung realization natin, tama pala na during our time, this were excluded from the contents of our curriculum because nobody
knew,
or very few wrote about this. So here comes now we are speaking of indigenous people's education. Mismo ang education history natin, we are not aware. So, napag-isipan natin, isulat na lang muna natin yung pinagmulan ng education natin. So, alam mo, yung sinasabi nila, hindi tayo sinakop ng mga Espanyol.
Oh, yeah. How true is that?
Tayo.
Yeah. How are we?
Yeah. As early as 1846, yung Trinidad, kaya nga La Trinidad ang pangalan.
It's a Spanish.
On honor of the wife of Galvez, Trinidad. Ang pangalan alone is an indication na tayo ay natapos. And then after La Trinidad, itong mga Espanyol ay napunta sa iba't ibang bahagi ng what is now Benguet. Actually, they established 19 rancherías. These were all settlement. Rancherías, meaning
settlements like villages.
Yeah. And sinasabi ng history na may kaugnayan sa education, the Spaniards did put up schoolhouses
for formal education.
In several pueblos, they call that pueblos, town ng rancheria. Such as in Cabayan, Daklang, Tublay, and then of course Trinidad. Galiano is now part of Tuba. So, merong schoolhouses na itinayo ng mga Espanyol doon. Kaya lamang, hindi masyadong natuto yung mga katutubo dahil ang layunin ng Espanyol ay palaganapin yung Katolisismo.
Yeah, Catholicism.
At saka, to facilitate the collection of taxes in tribute.
Yeah, yes.
So, while they established schools, only few became literate, no? Yun pang naging literate yung mga kapatid nating mga Ilocano.
So,
halimbawa sa Trinidad yung nag-settle dito.
Yes. So the story is actually back in the day, may mga Ilocanos na umaakyat din dito na nagsisettle din dito.
Yeah. Pero through yung sa time ng Spaniard, yung through the Catholic mission.
Yeah.
So it is
parang sila na rin yung communicator ng mga Spaniards sa mga locals dito.
Yeah. So tayo talagang the Spaniards set foot
they established their
and the different parts of what is now Benguet.
Baka yung sinasabi
the latter part of after 1846.
Yes, because they said we were not conquered for 300 years.
Yeah.
So maybe the latter part of the empire, of the Spanish Empire, that was maybe the time na nandito na sila.
So it was actually Trinidad,
Yes, sir.
1846. So that was the establishment of the Strait of the Benguet.
Yes, because the Spaniards were already here in the Philippines in the 1500s.
The other parts of the country, of course, 1565.
Yes.
But Benguet, 1846. Why are we saying this? Because it might create.
Yeah, to put it in context. Yes, sir. To put it in context. Yes.
We were colonized, but there were also instances of that's another story. Another story. Pero yun nga, hindi nagtagal yung mga Espanyol kasi nga 1896 pumutok yung 1896 revolution.
Yeah. And then during those times na nandito sila, they established yung mga formal schools.
May schoolhouses, may eskwelahan na yari sa indigenous material na itayo sa pamamagitan ng simbahan sa panahon ng mga Espanyol. Nang dumating ang mga Amerikano, nariyan pa rin yung mga schoolhouses.
Okay. So parang ginamit na rin ng mga Americans yung schoolhouses na yun?
Yeah. Na-maximize yung mga schoolhouses. Parang ipinagpatuloy na ng mga Americans, lalo na sa kabayan. Alam mo kasi yung mga Americans formally na 1899 actually na nakarating sila dito. Ang daming kwento
Yes.
Ang daming kwento kasi yung revolutionary ni Aguinaldo, Pedro Paterno, pati si Sergio Osmeña, pati si Manuel Quezon na was writer noon, nakarating sila dito sa Trinidad. In fact, they attempted to establish the revolutionary government in Trinidad. Pero dahil sa mga Americans, nag-retreat itong revolutionary government, napunta sila sa Tublay. Doon sa Tublay.
These are facts that we need to learn. I don't even know that, sir.
Yes. Kaya nga yun yung kwento na parang yung papel ng Benguet sa kasaysayan mukhang hindi talaga
aralan, sir.
Masyadong na-highlight doon sa history.
Come to think of it, na the revolutionary government settled here in La Trinidad and Tuwal, in Tublay. So, parang bakit walang nababanggit? Basta sinabi lang, tumakbo si Aguinaldo sa norte.
Kasi, siyempre yung dumating yung mga Amerikano, because of superior arms, siyempre, talo talaga yung mga revolutionary. They had to retreat, and then the choice was the retreated towards Tublay. Pero sabi ng history, hindi pa rin parang they were about to be arrested. Tumakas sila.
I see.
Tumakas sila yung then si Pedro Paterno, nahuli, yung mga kasama niya na sina Juan Ora Carino, si Laruan, na-aresto na yan sa Kabayan, sa Itugon. So, that was the end. The Americans formally...
This podcast is sponsored by Monoflore's Egg Poultry. So Monoflore's Egg Poultry sells fresh eggs, and they are available in the locality of Mankayan. Of course, you can check them out by checking their Facebook page, Monoflore's Egg Poultry. Check them out right now.
Formally establish the rule in Benguet. So speaking of education, na-establish muna nila yung yung military government. Yes. Yung naunang nagpatuloy ng eskwelahan, mga sundalo talaga. And that was documented in Kabayan. As to written, sabi ng account ng Camora, Mr. Palmer pala. Pinagpatuloy niya yung eskwelahan doon. And then sa Baguio, nagtayo ng eskwelahan doon sa, ito na yung location ng Baguio Central School. So, as to written, Mr. Patrick na sundalo,
Sir Patrick also.
siya yung nagsimula ng doon, ng recruitment ng mga Igorots para turuan. That's why Baguio Central School, sabi ng history, ito yung acknowledged earliest public school in the country.
In the country.
Tapos sinasabi, Baguio is claiming because of that. So, ganun yung and then to continue education,
Yes, sir.
Focus tayo sa education. 1900, maalala natin, November 23, 1900. The first civil government in the country was established in Benguet. The first civil government for the province of Benguet was established November 23, 1900. So, meaning, parang special talaga ang Benguet
Pero the composition of, do you have like the composition of the Benguet, can you name during that time? Kasi the Benguet that we know now is different from the Benguet that they know before. So,
November 22, 1900, idineklara ng Philippine Commission yung iba't ibang towns of Benguet which were formerly Spanish rancherias. Nabanggit ko yan sa education history. Kasama dyan yung Palina, Ampusungan, Ambuklaw, Taklan, Galiano, mga ganon. So, these were declared as towns. Well, and then, the other parts of Benguet now, like Mangkayang, these were part of the province of Lipan-Tubuntok.
yes. Lipan-Tubuntok, which is separate from this one here.
But in 1920, the former Spanish rancherias were merged into the present towns of Benguet. And then, the provinces of Amburayan and Lipan-Tubuntok, these were abolished. So, yung teritoryo ng Lipan-Tubuntok ay napunta sa Old Mountain Province. Actually, bahagi ng Benguet. Yung iba napunta sa Ilocos Sur, like Cervantes. Yung iba naman napunta sa bahagi ng bundok na ngayon ay Mountain Province. Anyway, bakit natin binanggit yan? Kasi, alam mo, 2 years after the creation of Benguet, of the provincial civil government in Benguet, October 8, 1902, yan ang nilagay ko sa education history. October 8, 1902, inilabas yung Act 477 ng Philippine Commission. Ano ito? it created 36 school divisions in the Philippines.
Entire Philippines.
Yeah,
36 school divisions.
In the Philippines. Yan yung isang laman ng history of education natin. At alam mo, yung Benguet, one of the 36 school division.
Benguet.
Yeah.
Hindi Mountain Province, hindi Baguio, talagang Benguet.
Yung Lipan to Buntok, isang division yan.
Isang division. Oh, so parang dalawa dito sa...
Yes, during the time in 1902. Lipan to Buntok was one division and then Benguet was one division. So, ganun yung nangyari. That was the start of formal education. Ibig sabihin, the Americans recognized the earliest schools, no, put up in Benguet.
And this is being run by the Commonwealth government already, sir.
So parang ang haba-haba ng kwento, pero ito yung na-discover natin na parang ito pala yung, as far as government structure, government structure is concerned, school division of Benguet was created October 8, 1902.
It's more than 100 years.
That's why ito na yung anniversary natin as a schools division. We trace back that to October 8, 1902. Imagine that, tayo pala yung isa sa mga
earliest.
Parang ang dami-daming kwento. No? And then, siguro, tinatanong mo kasi sir, no?
Yes.
Yung, ano ba yung laman ng history of education in Benguet? So, yan, binanggit natin what was the situation of education during the short-lived Spanish occupation. And then second, what were the earliest schools established? So, binanggit natin yung Buwa School for Girls, established in 1906. But prior to the Buwa School for Girls, na-establish yung Buwa School for Boys in 1901.
So mas nauna yun.
Kaya popular itong si Mrs. Kelly. Yung Tumasite.
So that, parang, anong year na yun, sir? 1906? Talagang the distance or yung gap ng years nung sinimulan ng Mr. Palmer at Mr. Patrick yung education dito, medyo matagal-tagal pala bago dumating yung mga Thomasites.
Yes, as early as 1899 yun.
Because yung pagkakalam ko is Thomasites na agad yung hindi pala.
So, parang ganito yan. May school houses sa kabayan, kunyari, may school houses sa kabayan, ipinagpatuloy yan ni Mr. Palmer. Pero, because of undisclosed reasons, hindi pa natin nabanggit bakit kaya bumalik si Mr. Palmer sa Amerika noong 1901. So parang at the time of the creation of Benguet as a schools division, walang nag-sustain
I see.
doon sa school sa kabayan kasi umalis si Mr. Palmer. So, sa record ng mga Americans, yung formally na na-establish doon ay yung Buwa School for Girls ni Mrs. Kelly.
I see, okay.
Tapos, yung sa Baguio, ito rin yung na-sustain ba yung schoolhouse yung sa what is now Baguio Central School. Mukhang 1901 din, hindi na-sustain kasi may na-put up sa teachers camp.
I see.
Yung sa teachers camp, ito yung Baguio School for Boys, which became Baguio Industrial School for Boys, and then later Baguio Trades School, Mountain Province School, na ito na yung Baguio City High School na sinasabi ng So, pagamat ganun, parang kinikilala pa rin natin yung efforts ng pagkakaroon ng school during the time.
So it's short-lived, pero nandun pa rin yung
So, yun yung isang content natin dun sa ano.
Yeah.
So, earliest schools, okay, nabanggit natin yung Kabayan, nabanggit natin yung sa Baguio,
Yeah.
no? Nabanggit din natin yung Trinidad.
Trinidad.
Oo. Tapos, saan pa ba? Yan, Trinidad at saka, Trinidad actually, Baguio at saka doon sa Buwa, ito yung...
So, yung sa records ng mga Americans, Buwa yung parang kinikilala nilang established. Can you share us the information about that school? Yung Buwa, ano yung parang, what do they teach in that school? Ano yung composition ng klase? Girls, all girls. Pero is it parang may age limit ba? Or
Yes.
paano yung, and can you share us something about what's that? Kelly, Mrs. Kelly.
So siguro, maganda siguro ikwento natin yung...
Yes, sir.
Yung... What were the significant lessons as educators, ano ba yung significant event sa panahon ng earliest schools natin? Siguro maganda na ikwento natin yung karanasan ng Buwa. Sa Buwa School, 1906, we established the Buwa School for Girls. That's the first school in the Mountain Province. In Benguet, because 1908 yung Mountain Province na-create. Pinakauna yung Buwa School for Girls na naitayo. Girls were given the opportunity to enter schooling. Tapos hindi naging madali yung pag-aaral ng mga babae. Kasi sa pananaw ng mga katutubo, dahil nga sa negatibong karanasan sa panahon ng Espanyol na ito ay instrumento para the Catholic faith, and then para makumolikta ng buwis. Parang akala nila
Ganun din.
Parang na to. Wala nang magtatrabaho sa bukid, wala nang magre-raise ng kamote, ganun. So, ang nangyari, parang ayos nila sa una. But eventually, nakita nila, naku, natututo pala yung mga babae. At alam mo ang pinatutuhan nila noong una. Aside from reading, aside from arithmetic, natutuhan nila yung pagtahi ng kanilang sariling damit. Loom weaving.
Yung abo.
Loom weaving, embroidery, tapos lace making. So, nauna yung Buwa. Nagumang elementary yun, ha? Skills girls. No? So, through Mrs. Kelly in a Filipino teacher na yung Ipolita Kunilang, tinuruan ng mga bata. Tapos nag-design ng they produce their own dress.
Wow.
They wove their own dress and clothing, and it supplemented their income. And you know what? Sabi ni Professor De Las Rios, kasi meron siyang resource entitled Educatum Mukimo in China. These are the pupils of Buwa.
Okay.
Before, tapos sabi niya noong 1910, naging model yung Buwa School para sa loom weaving at saka embroidery. May taga-Buntok. Buntok girls, Ginsmark,
na pumunta sa Buwa.
Pumunta sa Buwa
para matuto yung tingnan nila.
Oo, para mag-benchmark.
Benchmark.
Oo. At alam mo ang nangyari? Mas na. Pero nakapagtataka, ito na yung masamang kwento.
Yeah.
After the war, parang hindi na sustain yung Buwa School. Merong naitatayo na school doon, pero yung curriculum na may kinalaman sa loom weaving, embroidery, saka doon sa embroidery, lace making, parang hindi na sustain. Unlike doon sa Easter School sa Baguio.
Yeah.
Easter School
It's until
they maintain the weaving tradition. And then sa Mountain Province, delivered up. So sinasabi ko nga ito nga yung isang may challenge doon sa Buwa nung pumunta kami doon. Kindly research on this. Ano bang nangyari?
Yeah.
Bakit tayo, itong Buwa, yung mga girls noon, sila yung nag-pioneer.
Yeah.
Pero bakit ngayon?
So this is on record, sir. That talaga na sila yung and then, kasi yung nakikita natin ngayon na weaving is yung sister, yung galing sa Mountain Province, wala na masyado. Wala tayong makikita ang galing sa Itogo. But then, if you're going to trace the history, doon pala yung parang source ng...
Yeah. Hindi naman natin sinasabi na doon sila natuto. Pero,
nag-benchmark.
The point there is, the loom weaving, as a part of the curriculum, was flourishing in Buwa, and it was a model.
Yeah.
It was a model that time. But then,
what happened?
It was not sustained.
I see.
But in Mountain Province, ito na, hindi lang sa school na nag-boom yung loom weaving, in-embrace ng community. In-embrace yung community ng weaving. Pero sa atin, sa bahagi ng Itugon, ano kayong nangyari dito? Initially, sabi ng isang teacher, and maybe this is my historical basis. Siguro, sabi niya, dahil sa mining, nang nag-boom yung mining industry, parang, walang kikita doon sa loom na yan. So after the war, it was but nawala yung heritage sana natin. Imagine original design yun. Talagang Benguet na hindi simisikili yung nagturo ng mga design na yan. Design talaga ng Benguet, pero it was maximized as part of the school curriculum. So ito yung lessons ito na yung contextualization kung ano yung umiiral doon na halimbawa yung design ng clothing ng isang community. Parang ito yung in-improve. Actually, elementary ang mga yun, So, yan yung isang lesson siguro, Sir Clive.
The loom weaving, just to clarify this, it's a skill already na known ba sa mga katutubo yun? Or it's already a skill na known.
Yes.
And then, correct me here if I'm wrong, Mrs. Kelly brought that skill, parang itinuro sa mga bata na ito. Parang ganun ba? Ginawa, isinali sa curriculum.
Yes.
I see, okay.
So, yung history talaga, wala tayong clothing, wala tayong cotton. Yung textile, you have to import that from the lowlands.
Yes.
Pero, earlier, meron namang mga design mga ganun na through our trade in the lowland, parang nagkaroon ng kung paano, nagkaroon ng talagang sarili atin.
Yes.
And then, nang na-establish yung schools, renomote na yan.
So, connecting it to what we are having now, yung tinatawag nating IPED, or Indigenous People's Education. Can you explain to the listener kung ano yung Indigenous People's Education and how do teachers do or integrate it to the current curriculum that they're having?
Okay, that's a good question.
I'm trying to weave in yung natunggidan nga question. Shout out to Sir John Erwin Kising.
It's related actually to yung pinag-uusapan natin. Bahagi ng iPad yan.
Yeah.
Yung history natin, bahagi ng iPad. Pero ito, nais nating klaruhin na yung Indigenous People's Education, this is actually the implementation of the K-12 curriculum in Indigenous People's community. So, in the case of Benguet, we acknowledge that all of our 430 schools are located in indigenous people's communities, right?
Yes.
We are indigenous people. Despite the colonization, we still maintained our distinct identity as a people. No?
Yeah.
So, IPED is the implementation of the K-12 curriculum in indigenous people's community, provided there is contextualization going on. Why do we need to contextualize our lesson? This is the bottom line. This is the purpose of IPED. Because I've said a while back, for a long time, our indigenous knowledge, our indigenous values, and even our history, these were excluded from the design of the national curriculum.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Tama po.
So, you know, in 2011, no less than Secretary Armin Listro apologized to the indigenous people. Like the apology of the Aborigines in Australia. Parang sinabi ni Listro, yung dating secretary na in-acknowledge niya yung shortcoming ng Philippine government of not including our indigenous knowledge, values, and history. We could also say our indigenous knowledge system and practices. Pero through IPED, sana makorek yun para maituwid yung miseducation of the Filipinos. So,
Sponsor Time! So this podcast is brought to you by Dems Auto Performance. Dems Auto Performance Shop offers automotive servicing and very clear sila ng kahit anong klase ng sasakyan. Huwag lang eroplano. Located at Alapang, La Trinidad, Benguet. Of course, they also offer off-road servicing. Sa mga naglalaro ng off-road, gustong pa-convert ang sasakyan sa off-road, you can visit Dems Auto Performance at Alapang, La Trinidad, Benguet. Or you can also visit their Facebook page, Dems Auto Performance.
Republic Act 10533, yung Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, sinasabi doon, our curriculum is contextualized in global. Sabi rin doon, our curriculum must be culture responsive, culture sensitive. So, ito na yung iPad. Ang problema, ano bang ituturo natin sa iPad? Di ba? Ano bang iPad? Nagkaroon ng misconception ng doon sa early implementation of iPad. Parang lumabas na nag-emphasize tayo sa indigenous knowledge systems and practices. Mukhang na-highlight si practice. Pero parang hindi masyadong na-highlight si indigenous knowledge, si values, at saka si history. So, yung practices na associated with rituals, hindi naman tayo against sa ritual. Pero na-turn off yung kasama nating mga kaguruan. Parang akala nila, naku, going back pala tayo sa nakaraan. Yung eskwelahan pala ay babalikan yung mga practices.
Mga pamati.
That was the error. Kaya yung sabi mo na bakit parang mabagal yung implementation ng iPad? Kasi doon nga na-review yung experience natin sa iPad na nakatuon sa practices.
And by the way, the question, sir, was asked by Sir John Irvin Kising. Sir John, sa camera. Sir John Irvin Kising, so
tayo na lang siguro yung So, what happened was, ano ba kasi ang dapat na nilalaman ng contextualization na ito? No? Is it our practices? Of course, we are not disregarding those. These are part of our history. But when we speak of culture is dynamic.
maraming dapat.
Oo. We have to acknowledge na ito na ngayon yung ito na ngayon yung situation natin. But then we have to see ano ba yung kangrunaan nga surusuro
Right.
nga iti panagkita iti communities, panagkita ti indigenous people that masapul nga agtalin na undag itoy
Yeah.
kun maisuro
May solo.
para iti anak tayo. Tak may tikas tako dyan ibagbagada din nga nanamnaman. Nanamnaman.
Yeah.
So nga no kuna tayo nga iPad kitaon tayo man basit dadjay appropriate related to our indigenous knowledge and values. Specifically, no? Something related to stewardship.
Stewardship.
Okay, panag-aywan. No, dadjay anya ba iti pag-alagadan tayo naman panggap nag-Ilocano na ako.
Yes, sir. Sure.
What was supposed to be our standard when it comes to
Pag-alagadan.
stewardship? Parang ganun sana, no?
Yeah.
Maybe we will go back to how we value our land and the
Yes.
resources, no? All indigenous peoples actually only in Benguet. So the saying land is life, for example, that illustrates stewardship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Stewardship, another one. Knowledge related to wisdom. Our literature, our local literatures, our wisdom.
Knowledge related to wisdom. Yeah.
Our chants. Our stories. Our the way how our elders, no?
Yung mga
How our elders resolve conflict.
yes.
These are born of wisdom. So ito sana yung mga so stewardship, wisdom, ano pa? Spirituality. Spirituality, of course. When you say spirituality, we land on the beginning that our belief that there is a supreme being who created everything. And then, sabi nga sa kakanayan, sabi ng isang matanda, nuwaday ugyat mo ng namaswa, iso ti panrugian, di sigil ay namnam. So that's biblical. No? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. How are these being applied before that it sustained our community? Dahil ito kaslang, ito yung kaslang parang nawala ngayon.
Yeah.
So, sa education, sa atin sa education, ano ba ang lesson na maaring tingnan natin itong wisdom, stewardship, spirituality, yung ano pa, the value of equity.
Equity.
So, equity, stewardship, spirituality, wisdom. So,
Paano din i-define ng indigenous knowledge or ng IP ang equity?
yung equity, our sense of being a community, for example, yung practices natin na may what, for example,
Okay. Yeah.
that is an indication of sharing,
Sharing.
the culture of sharing. And even in the mining communities, for example, there's
Oh, yes.
ano ba yung ano natin, yung ano yung ginagawa ng mga ano,
Sagao.
makistayo.
Sa'yo?
Oo, makistayo, makitagao, mga ganon na hindi na talaga natin sinasarili yung
Yes.
blessing.
Yeah.
Equity. Everybody must benefit
Yeah.
from the blessing. That's why we had celebration, no? But the values behind those celebrations before was actually the sense of caring, the sense of being a community, you have to share your blessing.
Yes.
It's an indication of equity.
Yung sinasabi mo kanina na well, we have focused so much on the practices. Then parang I heard that also one time. Shout out to Apo Sir Moristo Angyataw. I had the podcast to them twice, and yun yung inaano din niya, hina-highlight niya na yeah, they know how to play the gongs, they know how to dance the different dances, but do they understand the message or what's the meaning behind it?
Yes.
And it is up to us teachers to like explain it to the child. Kasi kung nagpatinggatay lang, ijay pa nang isuro tayo ti gangsa, then here comes yung talagang there's a conflict with, and yung question ni ano kanina is the iPad versus religiosity. Parang ganun eh. That parang of course ni agsubsubli tayo mo gayam inday inuugma kunan to dagi duma, because we're not trying to teach the knowledge yung sinasabi niyo kanina. And yeah, I heard that a lot of times, and parang to answer the question that bakit mabagal yung development ng IP sa parang walang masyadong how can I say this? Parang kung to answer it, parang yung the development or yung parang yung bilis kung paano ma-develop yung iPad natin, indigenous knowledge, KSP sa entire division or sa Benguet is relying on how the teachers understand the iPad education.
Maganda rin tanong yan, so tayo talaga sa field, ang dami-daming pinag-uusapan natin, ano?
Yes, sir.
Oo, ang dami-daming ginagawa.
Yes. Sorry.
Oo, ang dami-daming ginagawa, tapos
Nakarek na pero
unang-una dito. We don't look at iPad as a separate.
Yes.
Oo.
Tama.
We are not creating a new curriculum. Or I mean, we are not creating another activities. Okay.
Right.
We will still go on with our lessons.
Yep.
No. So provided tinitingnan natin kung mayroon bang opportunity to share something related to our local history, local heritage, at may kinalaman sa ating indigenous values.
Yes.
Oo, indigenous values, indigenous knowledge, no? So hindi natin gagawin maging komplikado yan.
Yeah.
When you are integrating, for example, reading, halimbawa reading, meron ka bang ginamit na local literature?
There are available resources there.
Or even your local history.
Yeah.
Para ma-enhance mo yung competency. Naglo-localize tayo.
Yeah.
Hindi kailangang gawin nating komplikado yung And then little by little, it's based on the level of our children.
Yes.
Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. So siguro sa senior high school, if you speak of Mr. Angyataw, sa senior high school, mas higher level. So they could actually debate on the relevance of the practices.
Yes.
Practices before. Or they could also determine what were the knowledge and values behind those practices.
Yes.
Lakas day ko parang ganun. Pero sa early grades, early elementary grade, okay, we start from their own level.
The history of the community, yung mga parang yun na yun, iPad na yun,
Yes,
history of the community, ano yung sabi ni no sino dyan ang i-donate, ijay dagang the history of the school, yung
yes, maaring ganun, magsimula tayo sa ganun, pero yung lessons, ganito kasi tayo na
Yes, sir.
pinanganak sa probinsya.
Mm.
Yung community natin noong mga bahay kubo pa,
Oh, yes.
yung mga bahay natin, pag nagpalit ka ng roof mo, automatic yung buong community tutulong.
Oh. Yeah.
Di ba? Yan ang bahagi ng history.
Nabot
How
pa yun.
could we detail this? Pero ngayon, dahil sa concrete, puro moderno na yung bahay, parang nawala na yung ano natin. Hindi ko alam kung naabutan niyan sa Mangkayan. Pero ako, lumaki sa Kibungan, yung bahay kubo, yung bahay namin.
Yeah.
Hindi mo sinasabi sa buong community, pag nagpapalit ka ng ano mo, magre-repair ka ng bahay, buong
Yeah.
community, tutulong.
Kasi biodegradable yung IPA, di ba? And then there will come a time na kailangan palitan mo. I think I saw that before. 93. Doon sa far-flung areas din sa Malikaya. Yeah, that's correct na there's that knowledge, the sharing, and yun yung parang hindi masyadong nababanggit sa ating education. Meron pa akong isang tanong dito na kasi baka bumasol ako Sir John Irvin, no? I ask for some questions. How to indigenize learning nga ba? Yan. Where is Benguet IKSP at the moment?
Ito ba siya?
Yes. That is acceptable to be adapted in the curriculum of the moment. I think you already nasagit mo dito yan, sir.
That's a good question. No? How to indigenize learning na ba? So, magandang i-ano natin na ano. There are two levels of contextualization. First is localization.
Localization.
When you say localization, we utilize local resources, local references
Yeah.
to enhance our lesson. Okay? So, we use the gangsa to illustrate a circle, for example. That's localization.
Localization.
So, the question is how to indigenize it. As we dig deeper, into the cultural aspect, we are going toward indigenization. So, for example, in the elementary, are there opportunities for us to develop the skills of preparing tapoy or brewing tapoy? We are going towards indigenization. So, for example, sa Budbud,
Yeah.
yung parang nakita ko ata yung post ni Cyril,
Yeah.
na
May tataglat ng tao.
yung pwede nilang mag-produce ng mga binubudan, mga ganun.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay,
Indigenization.
that is developing, enhancing the local knowledge. I mean, reviving the local knowledge and integrating this into the curriculum. Okay? Darating ang panahon, baka maabot natin yung indigenization doon.
Yeah.
No? We are not deviating from the competencies, but we are nurturing something related to our indigenous knowledge and indigenous value.
Yeah.
Isa pa, yung sinasabi ko kanina na cultural values natin, as we dig deeper and see the connections of our core values related to spirituality, stewardship, wisdom, equity, no? As we dig deeper and then find appropriate knowledge or specific values related to this, papunta tayo sa indigenization. So, ganun yung level. Okay. Sa schools, na meron silang Tawid Center o Heritage Center, how will I view this? Personally, no?
Yeah.
Papunta tayo sa indigenization. Bakit? Pagkat nakikita natin na yung Tawid Center, these are complementary Complementary, ibig sabihin, gagamitin ng tawid center na to supplement learning.
Yes.
May kaalaman ang mga bata na maaaring i-explain ang mga artifacts kunyari. May kakayahan sila na i-explain yung ating local history, for example. Diba, functional literacy yun?
Yeah.
So, papunta tayo sa indigenization. So, ganun siguro yung perspective natin. But yung sabi mo kanina na bakit mabagal?
Yeah.
Bakit parang mabagal? Ito na yung provision ko doon. Yung school, may school-based management na sinasabi. May capacity sana ang bawat eskwelahan na i-contextualize yung lesson mula localization and then kung kaya towards indigenization. Ganun siguro yung ano natin doon. So, yung bahagi namin sa division office is how we will support our schools.
Yeah.
To strengthen their capacity related to school-based management, to strengthen their capacity to contextualize lessons.
Contextualize.
Kaya, ito ang magandang balita. Alam nyo, kahapon, Benguet State University turned over so-called encyclopedia. Encyclopedia of Benguet IKSE, Indigenous Knowledge Systems and Practices. It's an encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Of IKSP.
So, it's a good reference. Okay. So, from now on, medyo naibahagi sa kulang, naibahagi sa mga school, pero sinasabi namin, these were products of research by Benguet State University. Nasabi namin, ito, paano gamitin ito para maging meaningful, para maging useful, maging relevant yung lesson natin. Ito siguro yung makikita natin yung direction. Hindi sa palagay natin na iPad is something something basta na lang hanggang sa nagkakangsa tayo, nagsasayawan, iPad na yun. Of course,
yun ang pinupunduhan.
But more than that, our learners must be able to
beyond the
internalize. Why are they dancing? Why are they playing gong? What are the history behind? What are the values behind it? So, ayaw natin yung ganyang klase ng perspective na influenced by tourism ba? So, yung, alam mo, yung Tawid Center, yung sabi ko sa mga teacher, hindi ito para sa bisita.
Para sa turista.
Na ma-impress o para sa turista. Ito ay para
sa mag-aaral.
I-enhance ang contextualization.
Right.
And we are happy to know, Budbud, for example, meron silang Tawid Center, Mangkayan, and even other districts. Ito na, ang dami-daming nagpuput up ng Tawid Centers, but as I've said, this will not be just showcase. It's for to augment learning.
It's to augment learning. It's not to showcase artifacts.
Pati kayo, meron kayo sa lang di ba?
Meron.
Pero, you have to improve that.
Yeah, we gotta improve. Yes. I'll be talking to our coordinator. What was the, parang, what's your opinion here? And usually, this is, dito tayo, ito yung isang hindrance, kumbaga. The religious sector sometimes, or there are some teachers who are, because of their faith, they are against this, the IPEC, the Indigenous People's Education. So, parang, what's your view on that? Anong view nito?
So, as I've said, maybe we will go back really to what I said. That iPad, as we implement the curriculum, that is iPad
Yeah.
in indigenous people's community, provided there is a conscious effort on the part of the school, on the part of the teacher, to contextualize.
Contextualize.
Because, as we have said, for a long time, this was excluded. We are products of an educational system that excluded
Ourselves.
this indigenous knowledge system and practices. And so now we are teachers, we are also, it's also high time to look at our perspectives
Yeah.
and then reaffirm this positive indigenous knowledge systems and practices, which will guide us in our decision. No?
So the way I understand it,
Yes, yeah.
the way I understand it is indigenous people's education is not about the yung for lack of a better term, hindi yung pinapagano ng ugali.
Yes.
It is on looking back on the good practices that we can take and we can put in the curriculum, integrate, so that our future generation will bring it with them. Parang,
I don't want to make a terminology. We don't call pagan.
yeah.
No. This was part of our. This is part of our history, and we acknowledge that we came from that
Yes.
related.
Pero usually kasi,
yeah.
especially
But
if you-
then, the context of their time, during their time,
yeah.
that was appropriate during their time.
Yes.
But today, is it appropriate, or shall we learn the values and knowledge behind what they did?
Right. Yeah. I like that. We should learn the values and knowledge.
Yes. So, for example, that the value of equity alongside the rituals before,
Yeah.
maybe the lesson that we could learn from them at present is that the value of sharing, the
Yeah.
value of caring,
Right.
okay, the value of being a community, that we have to admit also because of modernization, because of the advent of the caste economy,
Yeah.
we embrace individualistic values. So through iPad, hopefully, we will not condemn them. We learn the values.
Yeah. That's the parang ano because I do read some posts also that some teachers will be saying that I admire their faith. I admire their faith for having that one, but what I want to say is that we should not also be close-minded on situation like this. Na I myself came from a religious family, and I see the importance of this. So parang there are times ngayon na tama yung question niya na sometimes it's the iPad versus religiosity. Ganun na yung nangyayari, which is
That's why we are in the education. So I said, we will concentrate. We will look at it in the perspective of education.
right. Yes.
We will not be debating something on on religion or something like that, because as I've said, our common denominator is that how can we ensure our identity as a people,
Yeah. The
And-
identity. Very important.
our values and knowledge, which were excluded from the design of the national curriculum for a long time,
A long time.
will find their way in our education right now. As to religion, okay, we'll leave that to our
Theologists.
yes. And then as to debate on we have the I2MR. Okay, meet them. Okay,
Yeah.
sila na yun.
Sila na.
Pero sa atin sa eskwelahan, ito na tayo. Tingnan natin ang indigenous knowledge, indigenous values, our local history, our heritage as a people. Okay, that's IPED.
That's iPad. Local history, which is very, yun nga yung parang, we're sometimes saddened because parang kulang. Very actually. The story that yung ini-explain natin kanina about the let's just say we are not mali gamit yung bagada nga we are not colonized. Let's just say Spaniards had hard time like controlling the highlands, ganun na lang. Mas maganda bang term yun, sir? Na hindi, we were not conquered for 300 years, but let's just say the Spaniards had hard time conquering us for like 100 years, 300 years. Those stories, hindi nababanggit back when we were studying histories. And yung nang lumabas lang to mga IPED na Indigenous People's Education na to, saka lumalabas yun. And I think that's one of the positive thing I saw.
Yes.
And one of the positive thing I also saw was that back in the day, I guess, tikaturudan nga tao dito ilubong, tagiyay iburot nga ikat Apo Congressman Dumugan kan ni Apo Lamon. I think if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think Mr. Lamon also, or Congressman Lamon, went to the Congress wearing bag and talking about the article of Carlos P. Romulo. That was the first time. And during those days, wearing bag like that in a formal occasion is, I think, a no-no. And nakikita natin ngayon, I even saw like a last trace of it na uray na kami nga, di ko mabait kami nga agbag. And now you can see young generations so proud of wearing the bag na sinasabi nilang this is us, this is our identity. And I think that is the good parang product ng Indigenous People's Education.
Yes, that's true. But sometimes we also need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, we were discriminated. But because of history,
Yes.
and we might be saying, we were able to maintain our identity despite colonization. It might also create a misconception among us that's also extremism, that we are superior.
It's not that. Yeah.
We have to be careful. Otherwise, that will we still subscribe
Yeah.
to the universal idea of human rights
Right. Yeah.
all people, regardless of race, regardless of background. Okay, we all have the potential.
Yes.
And so we want to clarify that when we implement IPED, it's because it's doing justice on our part, because, as I've said, this was excluded for a long time, and it's now through IPED. Okay, we are correcting the miseducation of the Filipino.
Yeah, because ayun tama rin, sir, kasi how can I say this? Marami ring there's a lot of Filipinos who doesn't really know who the Igorots are.
Yes.
And there are also Igorots who doesn't know who they really are. They are mad when there are some posts in social medias talking about Igorots like this and like that, but they are mad, and that's it. They are mad, and then they cannot explain themselves. And who are the Igorots? Ano ang inyong identity? Ano ang inyong pagkakakilanlan? Hindi naman nila may papaliwanag ng maayos. Galit lang sila kasi na-insulto sila. Pero kung sa pagpapaliwanag ko, konti lang din ang nakakalam kung paano ipaliwanag. So I think yes, in this is tama yung I'm so thankful na napakaganda ng explanation of what iPad is.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's true. We have to understand, as I've said, our teachers, including us, that we were products of an education really that excluded this.
Yeah.
So now that we are teaching, we cannot do this overnight.
Yes, it's
So,
a process.
We will begin contextualization through localization.
Yes.
And maybe we have a common denominator. Okay, our local stories. Okay, our local wisdoms, our local riddles. How do we use this? And the motivation of our lesson. Okay, so as we go on, we will appreciate really. Okay, kahit na rin yung kwento ko doon sa Benguet education history natin.
Yes.
Yung dating kaalaman, that's who we build.
Yeah.
Okay. So, baka naman sa eskwelahan natin ay kakayanin natin na revive yung mga ganyang skills.
Your skills.
Skills and knowledge. Okay. So sa MAPE, sinasabi natin, okay. Yung dances natin,
Yeah.
okay. Wala naman sigurong kukontra doon. But then, more than performing the dances, our learners must know the stories behind,
Yeah.
the knowledge behind our dances, our gong. We'll start from there. Para hindi ma-promote yung pagtingin ng ating mga dances ay para ma-attract ang mga turista. Ginagawa sa panahon ng panagbunga, sa panahon lamang ng adibag, para tayo ay panuuri at palakpakan.
Para mag-viral.
Yes. Saka gagamitin sa mga beauty pageant, ganun-ganun. Pero more than that, alam ba ang kwento sa likod ng ating mga dansa,
Right.
likod ng ating mga gangsa? We could begin that one. And we're grateful meron tayong iPad.
Yeah.
Dito tayo magsisimula.
Those are the products also. Tama yung sinabi nyo. And connecting back sa question kanina na why is it slow? Because it's a process. Yun na yung it's a process. It's gonna take time. Tama. Yeah.
So, siguro, allow me to magkwento ako.
Yes, sir.
Meron akong kwento na hindi ko babanggitin ang pangalan ng school. I was invited to speak about iPad. But before that, meron silang kakatayin na baboy. Then dito, because I am the iPad focal. I know, and so they told me I will be the one to pray, parang ako daw yung maggagawa ng mga ritual na may kinalaman sa pig. So sabi ko, okay, ang alam ko, dahil pinanganak tayo sa bagong henerasyon, so, ito ang bahagi ng so, ang alam ko lang talaga is to pray, because that is our context now. Hindi ko pipilitin na babalikan yung pampapaano nananalangin ng mga matatanda noon. I pray because that's the context. But it does not mean that I condemn.
Right. Yes.
Parang ganun siguro yung natin. So,
right.
Correct.
You are still correct because you are using your context and your generation.
We miss the essential point. Parang ang essential point siguro yung knowledge na bakit ginagawa noon na hindi ito practice. Dahil sa ayaw man at sa gusto natin, talagang sino ba tayo na alam natin yung
Yes.
Oo. So maybe to conclude probably, iPad is not going back to the past.
Yeah.
It's actually learning from the past and then ensuring that our relevant indigenous knowledge, systems and practices, including our values in our local history, these are incorporated in our lesson to make this meaningful, relevant, and useful.
Yeah.
And then our only consolation now is our identity.
Yeah.
People.
Right. So, and that is iPad. Going back, sir, to the history, are you planning to write a book focusing on the history of education? Because parang you're the one who did the research, kung tama ko, you're the one who did the research and everything. Are you planning on compiling it yourself?
Maganda rin na tingnan natin yung kasaysayan ng edukasyon sa Benguet na kailan nagsimula yung paniniwala ng mga magulang natin that education is the greatest inheritance that can never be stolen. So noon medyo negative sa education, pero yung as we move forward, na-embrace ng ating mga magulang, our ancestors, our forebears, we embrace education as the greatest inheritance that can never be stolen. Ganito kasi yung context, no? Pagkatapos because of the situation of our economy, okay, yung concept of ownership, na maging ang lupa, ito na ay pinag-aawayan ng maging mga magkakapatid. Ito na ang isang sanhi ng hindi pagkakunawaan. Tapos ang nangyari sa Benguet, tingnan natin, okay, Benguet, ito na yung mining companies. Okay? Ang mga magagandang lugar natin, nakuha na para sa mining companies. For example, noon, logging companies. Nakuha yung mga magagandang lugar natin. And then, during the time of the Americans, nakuha na yung magagandang lugar. Halimbawa, Baguio. Parang tumating yung punto na ang pag-asa na lang education. So, siguro doon yung context na it's really the greatest inheritance that can never be stolen. Sa bahagi ng ibang matatanda, wala kaming lupa dahil pamamana. O kung mayroon mang lupa, ito na yung
pinakamahalagang pamana.
So, ngayon, totoo, ang edukasyon mo, para sa iyo yan, para sa pamilya mo. No? At gamitin mo ang edukasyon para manilbihan sa kapwa mo. So, that's the greatest inheritance. Pero ang lupa, ang material na bagay, pinag-aaway-awayan natin na kahit pa magkakapatid tayo.
Dahilan ng pag-aaway. So, I remember yung sinasabi mo na noon is parang hindi nila binavalue. I heard the story of my grandmother, guys, that kung pupunta daw ng eskwelahan, papaluin. Hanggang adi ka man sa eskwela, matangla ka. I remember the word matangla. So, for those young generations that didn't know, ganun ang ating ng mga ninuno natin noon until such time nga yung kwento ni Sir that we now know, we now see education as the greatest inheritance that your parents can give to you. I don't want to take you for a long time, but then can you leave parang a message, parang reflecting on your principles in life and philosophies? Ano yung parang message natin sa mga kabataan na gusto niyong ibigay? Yun ang una. At yung pangalawa is yung message natin sa mga teachers natin sa Philippines.
Okay. Thank you for that, no? So, sa ating mga kapaguru, no? Ang mahalaga naman talaga ay ito nga, matuto tayo sa magandang aral ng ating nakaraan, no? Ours as a people, no? Napakaganda yung mga kwento behind our being indigenous people. At ito yung paano natin gawin makabuluhan, relevant, useful, and meaningful ang ating lesson sa pamamagitan ng pagbabalik sa positive indigenous knowledge, systems and practices, including our local history. Ayan. Sa ating mga kabataan naman, no, ito na ang panahon because of iPad, okay, mangyayari lamang talagang matuto tayo sa ating pinagmulan. Ito, yung popular na kasabihan na promote ni Rizal, ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makararating sa paroroonan. Okay? We value our beginning, we value our origin as a people, and we value our culture as a people.
Right.
And yan ang ating identity.
Yes.
We value education. And then, as I said, it's born of our experience, born of our history. Education is the greatest inheritance that can never be stolen.
Right.
So let us promote education in the right way. But then, for those who are educated, mangyari lamang panilbihan natin ang ating sariling community, ang ating sariling probinsya, and then later, ang ating sariling bayan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Makati Malanis, thank you so much for having me. For agreeing to do this. And I hope we can do this again one time.
Thank you.
Marami akong gustong itanong sa mga autonomy, yung mga